Lavinia Thornewood trekked through the raw dunes, her patched greatcoat creaking like rusted gears against the wind. The auroral fog swirled around her, a poisonous mix of ozone and burnt flesh that threatened to scald her lungs at every breath. She clutched her pack tight, the weight of her water skin and scavenged food digging into her weary shoulders. The suns dipped below the horizon, casting the wasteland in an eerie green glow. Lavinia's eyes, already bloodshot from lack of sleep, ached with the effort of scanning the dunes for any sign of danger. Her greatcoat was her only defense against the biting wind and scorching sand. As she crested a dune, Lavinia spotted a toppled Queen Anne folly in the distance. Its once grand facade now lay shattered, its ornate spires broken and twisted like thorns. She felt an inexplicable pull towards it, as if some unseen force was drawing her closer to the ruin. "Lavinia, what are you doing?" a voice whispered in her mind. She spun around, but there was no one nearby. "Who's there?" No response. Shaking off the unease, Lavinia approached the folly. The air grew thick with an otherworldly energy as she drew near. A wraith storm coiled around the structure, its tendrils reaching out like thorn veins to snatch at her greatcoat. She hesitated, but something compelled her to step closer. The wraiths parted to reveal a precognitive Echo Lavinia Thornewood, lying on the sand, eyes frozen in terror as a rift grenade exploded mere inches from her face. The vision's toll was already ravaging her mind, leaving behind blistering scars and recursive nightmares. A scream built in Lavinia's throat as she recognized the scene. It was her own death witnessed before it happened. She stumbled backward, tripping over her own feet as the wraiths recoiled around the folly like a living shroud. Lavinia landed hard on the sand, gasping for air as the vision's echoes faded into the distance. Her mind reeled with the implications. She had seen her own death, and it was connected to a corporate plot. Hemovale's ether forges were about to unleash a micro-rift that would devastate the world. With her fracturing mind and a single rift grenade, Lavinia knew she had to act. She could either prevent the catastrophe or become its catalyst. The choice was hers, but at what cost? Lavinia's pack weighed heavier with every step as she traversed the auroral wastes. She clutched her water skin tightly, the weight of it digging into her shoulder like a branding iron. Her greatcoat creaked against the wind, the seams threatening to burst open at any moment. The suns rose higher in the sky, casting the wasteland in an even more unearthly light. Lavinia's eyes burned from lack of sleep, and the constant wind scouring her face left her skin chapped and raw. She stumbled over a sand dune, almost falling to her knees as her foot caught on a hidden rock. Her pack swung wildly out of control before coming to rest in the sand with a muffled thud. Lavinia cursed under her breath, scrambling to retrieve her pack. As she stood up, the wind died down, and an unsettling silence fell over the wasteland. She felt eyes upon her, as if unseen foes watched from the shadows. A shiver ran down her spine. Here fevered dreams racked her mind of visions of clockwork scarabs crawling under her skin, piston furies bursting from the sand like mechanical hydra heads, and ethereal whispers beckoning her closer to some unknown doom. She shook off the visions, striding forward with a newfound sense of purpose. Hemovale's ether forges were about to unleash a micro-rift. She had seen it in her precognitive echo, a crack in the fabric of reality that would spill forth an unholy tide of chaos and destruction. Lavinia knew she had to stop this catastrophe before it was too late. She checked her pack, ensuring the rift grenade was secure within its pouch. A frisson ran down her spine as she thought of using it, of unleashing a wave of pure energy that would either save or destroy the world. As Lavinia trudged through the wasteland, the auroral fog grew thicker around her, like a shroud cast over the dunes. She clutched her pack tightly, feeling eyes upon her from every direction. Gear-fevered dreams still haunted her mind, each vision more vivid than the last. Suddenly, whispers began to echo in her mind, soft, insidious voices that spoke of hidden paths and ancient secrets. Lavinia recognized the language as that of the whispering relics, ancient artifacts imbued with forbidden knowledge. She quickened her pace, trying to outrun the whispers. The voice was growing louder now, a maddening chant that seemed to claw at her sanity from within. "Lavinia Thornewood," it whispered, "you carry the key to the world's salvation." Lavinia spun round, but there was no one nearby. The wind howled in response, carrying with it a faint echo of laughter, a cold, mirthless sound that sent shivers down her spine. She stopped dead in her tracks, recognizing the voice Lady of the Lancets. A psyker from ancient times, rumored to possess the power to weave reality itself. "Who are you?" Lavinia called out into the wind. The laughter grew louder, and a figure coalesced before her. A woman with eyes like burning stars stood in the center of the dunes, surrounded by whispering sigils that seemed to writhe and twist like living serpents. "I am the one who will guide you on this journey," Lady of the Lancet said, her voice dripping with mystery. "Together, we shall unravel the threads of fate and prevent the catastrophe that threatens to consume us all." Lavinia hesitated, unsure whether to trust this enigmatic figure or flee from her grasp. As Lavinia walked alongside Lady of the Lancets, the auroral fog grew thicker around them. The two women moved through the wasteland like ghosts, their footsteps silent as they traversed the dunes. "You are Riftseer," Lady of the Lancets said, her eyes burning with an otherworldly intensity. "A psyker attuned to the fabric of reality." Lavinia nodded, feeling a sense of unease at being recognized. "We will need your skills to stop the micro-rift in Hemovale's ether forges," Lady of the Lancets continued. "But first, we must reach the hidden city of Dusthold, where the reclaimant synod awaits our arrival." Lavinia swallowed hard, unsure what lay ahead but knowing she had no choice. The two women traversed the wasteland for hours, avoiding groups of gear-grind scavengers and dust devil nomads. As they walked, Lavinia began to feel a strange resonance emanating from her pack, a gentle hum that seemed to harmonize with the beat of her heart. "What is this?" she asked Lady of the Lancets, pointing to her pack. Lady smiled enigmatically. "A gift from the Whispering Relics, forged to aid you in our journey." Lavinia hesitated before opening the pack. Inside lay a small, intricately carved box adorned with the image of a clockwork scarab. A tiny latch clicked open as she touched it, revealing a hidden compartment containing a single rift grenade. Her heart sank as she recognized her own handiwork. This was no ordinary grenade. This was the key to stopping the micro-rift in Hemovale's ether forges. As Lavinia and Lady of the Lancets approached Dusthold, the auroral fog parted like a curtain to reveal a hidden city unlike any other. Towering structures with intricate clockwork facades dominated the skyline, their gears whirring softly as they functioned in perfect harmony. Lavinia felt a sense of wonder at the sight, but Lady's grip on her arm was firm and reassuring. "We must be quick," she whispered, "for time is short. The micro-rift will unleash its fury soon." Inside Dusthold, Lavinia encountered members of the reclaimant Synoverite group of scavengers and psychers determined to reclaim their lost world from the corporate overlords. Their leader, a grizzled rift worker named Ashen, greeted Lady with a mixture of wariness and respect. "Ah, Lady of the Lancets," he said, his voice dripping with suspicion. "I've heard rumors of your involvement in this affair." Lady smiled blandly. "Rumors often prove true, don't they?" Lavinia watched as Ashen's demeanor softened. He turned to her, his eyes burning with a fierce determination. "And you are the Riftseer we need," he said, extending a calloused hand. Lavinia took it, feeling a strange connection form between them like a bond forged in fire. Together, they set out to stop the micro-rift in Hemovale's ether forges. The fate of their world hung in the balance, and only they could tip the scales in its favor. As Lavinia and Ashen entered Hemovale's ether forges, the air grew thick with an otherworldly energy. Fear-fevered dreams racked her mind as she descended into the heart of the forge, where massive clockwork machinery churned out raw materials at an incredible rate. The rift grenade clutched tightly in her hand. Lavinia felt a sense of trepidation wash over her. This was it. This was where their plan would be put to the test. Ashen motioned for her to follow him deeper into the forge, where massive pistons and gearwork pulsed with an energy that seemed almost alive. "We must reach the micro-rift," he whispered urgently. "It's growing by the minute." Lavinia nodded, pushing aside the trepidation that threatened to consume her. This was it. This was their chance to save the world from destruction. As they descended further into the heart of the forge, Lavinia felt a strange connection form between her and Ashen, a bond forged in fire, one that seemed almost telepathic. With the rift grenade clutched tightly in hand, Lavinia steeled herself for what lay ahead. She knew that this would be her last chance to prevent the catastrophe that threatened their world. If it failed, they would both be consumed by the very chaos they sought to stop. And so she walked forward, toward a destiny forged of steel and fire, one that would either save or destroy them all. As Lavinia and Ashen approached the micro-rift, the air grew thick with an otherworldly energy. Fevered dreams racked her mind as she clutched the rift grenade tightly in hand. "This is it," Ashen whispered urgently. "We must act now." Lavinia nodded, feeling a strange connection form between them like a bond forged in fire. With the rift grenade at the ready, they charged forward into the heart of the micro-rift. The air around them seemed to distort and writhe as they entered the very fabric of reality itself. The world around her blurred and shifted as Lavinia plunged into the maelstrom of chaos that was the micro-rift. Heroic machinery pulsed with an energy that threatened to consume her, as if time itself was unraveling before her eyes. In this whirlwind of chaos, Lavinia saw visions of worlds both ancient and new, civilizations risen and fallen like dust devils in the wind, wars fought and won at unspeakable cost, the very fabric of reality torn asunder by unseen forces. And then, in a flash of insight that left her breathless, Lavinia saw it all, the true nature of the micro-rift, the purpose for which it had been created. It was not to destroy their world, but to unleash something far greater, a power so ancient and powerful that its mere existence threatened to upend the very order of reality itself. In this final moment of clarity, Lavinia knew what she must do. She raised her hand, and with a cry of defiance, unleashed the rift grenade into the heart of the micro-rift. The world around her seemed to shudder as the grenade exploded, releasing a torrent of energy that threatened to consume everything in its path. And then, like a veil torn apart by an unseen hand, reality itself began to unravel. In that moment, Lavinia knew she had either saved or damned their world forever. As the micro-rift imploded, taking with it the corporate plot and its sinister purpose, Lavinia felt a strange sense of emptiness wash over her. The world around her seemed to shift and writhe like living serpents as reality itself began to reassemble. Ashen stumbled forward, his eyes wild with fear. "It's over," he whispered. "We did it." Lavinia nodded, feeling a weight lift from her shoulders. But as she turned to leave, a strange resonance began to emanate from her pack, a gentle hum that seemed almost musical. The rift grenade was still active, its energy coursing through the world like lifeblood, and Lavinia knew, with a clarity that left her breathless, what this meant. She had become something more than she ever could have imagined, a catalyst for change, a force of nature forged from the very chaos they sought to stop. In this final moment of reckoning, Lavinia realized that her fate was tied to that of their world, and that their destiny would be shaped by the choices she made in the coming days.